Hi, boys and girls. I loved reading chapter 6. I loved exploring those hieroglyphs. It was almost like secret clues because Jack and Annie had to figure out what they said. And they figured out some clues how to find the Book of the Dead and help Queen Hutepi. So we're going to keep trying to help her in this chapter. And as we read, I want you to think about how the characters are feeling. We call that character empathy. So we take what we've read in the words and pictures, what the author is saying, and we use our thinking voice to think about how those clues the author is giving us tell us how the characters are feeling. So think about how Jack and Annie are feeling at these different points in the story. Chapter 7 is called The Scroll, and I can't wait to read to you what happens. Jack put the scepter and his notebook and pencil into his backpack. He and Annie followed the Ghost Queen deeper into the pyramid until they came to some stairs. You know what that made me think of? It made me think of that hieroglyph, the first hieroglyph clue. What were they? Stairs. The stairs, said Jack and Annie. The Ghost Queen floated up the stairs. Jack and Annie followed. The Ghost Queen floated right through a wooden door. Jack and Annie pushed on the door. It opened slowly. Where do you think that door leads? They stepped into a cold, drafty room. The Ghost Queen was nowhere in sight. Dim torchlight lit the huge room. So even though the author, I'm going to think for a second about what's happening in the story. The author doesn't give us any pictures in this part. So we're going to need to visualize this part of the story. So I'm going to use my reading voice and I'm going to read to you what it says. And I want you to be thinking about what it looks like in this part of the pyramid. I'm going to go back to reading. It had a very high ceiling. On one side was a pile of tables, chairs, and musical instruments. On the other side of the room was a small wooden boat. Can you see it in your head, that wooden boat? The boat, said Jack. Do you remember after the stairs? Boat. That's what the next hieroglyph said. What's it doing inside Queen Hutepi's pyramid? Asked Annie. Maybe it's supposed to carry her into the next life, said Jack. He and Annie went over to the boat. They looked inside it. Ooh, visualize this. The boat was filled with many things. Gold plates, painted cups, jeweled goblets, woven baskets, jewelry with blue stones, small wooden statues. Look, said Jack. He reached into the boat and lifted out a clay jug. The jug, said Annie. Stairs, they went down some stairs. Boat, they looked inside that boat, and there was a jug. Jack looked inside the jug. Something's in here, he said. What is it? Asked Annie. Jack felt down inside the jug. It feels kind of like a big napkin, he said. The folded cloth. Stairs, boat, jug, cloth. Jack reached into the jug and pulled it out. It was wrapped around an ancient-looking scroll. Let's think for a second, friends. Some of you may not know what that is yet. A scroll is like a long piece of paper that's rolled up. And so this scroll is hidden inside the cloth, inside the jug. Let's see what the scroll is. Jack slowly unrolled the scroll. It was covered with wonderful hieroglyphs. The Book of the Dead, whispered Annie. We found it. We found her book. Oh, man. Jack traced his finger over the scroll. It felt like very old paper. I'm going to stop and use my thinking voice for a second. I've read a lot about what Jack and Annie found, how they followed the clues. They found the book. How do you think they're feeling? They're probably pretty excited to have followed the clues and found what Queen Hotepi was looking for. I bet they're feeling happy and excited. Let's see what happens next. Oh, this is perfect. So if this is what you are visualizing, then you're right on. There's that big boat and all of those things inside the burial chamber. I can see from the picture, I can read this picture and see that Jack is holding the scroll. Looks like Annie is yelling something. Let's see what she's yelling. Queen Hotepi, called Annie. We have it. We found your Book of the Dead. Silence. Queen Hotepi. She in there? Then another door on the side of the chamber creaked open. In there, said Annie. Maybe she's in there. Jack's heart was pounding. Cold air was coming through the doorway. Come on, said Annie. Wait. Let's think for a second. Annie wants to go and find Queen Hotepi. How is Jack feeling? I read that his heart was beating, and then he said, wait. So I'm thinking he probably is feeling like he does not want to go where Annie's going. He's maybe feeling a little worried about what they might find. Wait. No, said Annie. She's waited 1,000 years for her book. Don't make her wait anymore. Jack put the ancient scroll into his backpack. Then he and Annie slowly started across the drafty room. They came to the open door. Annie went through first. Hurry, Jack, she said. Jack stepped into the other room. It was nearly bare. That means almost nothing in there, except for a long gold box. Can you visualize that? It's a long box, and what color is it? It's gold. The box was open. The cover was on the floor. Queen Hotepi, called Annie. Silence. We found it, said Annie. Your Book of the Dead. There was still no sign of the Ghost Queen. The gold box glowed. Jack could barely breathe. Let's leave the scroll on the floor and go, he said. No, I think we should leave it in there, said Annie. She pointed to the gold box. No, said Jack. Don't be afraid, said Annie. Come on. Okay, so let's use our thinking voice for a second. I read that Annie wants to leave the scroll, in my reading voice, Annie wants to leave the scroll inside the box, and Jack says no. And Annie says, don't be afraid. So how's Jack feeling? He's feeling afraid. He's feeling scared. Is Annie feeling that way? It doesn't seem like it. Let's go back to reading and see what they decide to do. Don't be afraid, said Annie. Come on. Annie took Jack by the arm. They walked together across the room to the glowing gold box. They stepped in front of the box and they peered inside. And I bet you want to know what's inside that box, but we're going to have to wait until tomorrow. I love how the author does that, how she makes us wait until the next day to find out something exciting that's going to happen. You can make a great prediction and think about, based on what we've read, what do you think is inside that glowing box inside of the pyramid? For my picture for my story timeline card today, I thought about what was important. And in this part of the story, Jack and Annie are mostly in the burial chambers. They're following those clues: stairs, boat, jug, scroll, and they're looking to find the Book of the Dead. And did they find it? They think so. They think they found what Queen Hotepi was looking for, what she needed. So they looked around the burial chamber, they followed those clues, and they think they found it. But is Queen Hotepi there? She's not there anymore, so I left her out of the picture. I wonder what's inside that long, glowing box. Think about what was important in this chapter today, friends, and make a good prediction about what you think is going to happen next.